Good afternoon and welcome to World Talks with me, Asli Aydintasbas, as we're going to discuss Turkey. The Bloomberg news agency reported that Turkey had officially applied to join BRICS. BRICS was founded in 2009 by Brazil, Russia, India and China. South Africa joined the alliance in 2010. Now, in a major expansion this year, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia and the UAE joined the bloc. Saudi Arabia has said it's considering joining, and Azerbaijan has also formally applied. To discuss what Turkish membership in BRICS could mean for Turkey, but also for the West and NATO, I am joined here this afternoon by Asli Aydintasbas, fellow at the Brookings Institution. Good afternoon, delighted to have you with us.
Good to be here.
So let me start with a little bit of housekeeping, because Bloomberg reported that Turkey has officially applied. However, there were some voices to the contrary. So is this confirmed?
It is pretty much confirmed. President Erdogan has expressed a desire, and Russians have now said they have the application. It doesn't mean Turkey becomes a member. I think this is more symbolic and an expression of Turkey's desire to diversify its alliances. This has been a trend in Turkey for a number of years. As most of your followers also know, Turkey no longer wants to be solely part of the transatlantic alliance. It's had developed ties with Russia, with regional powers, and very openly says that it wants to operate in a multipolar world. I think in many ways this is an indication of that.
Right, but Turkey is also a member of NATO, so should NATO feel threatened or to the contrary?
To be very honest, BRICS is more noise than reality. It's not a political entity. There is no real common BRICS decision. There's no BRICS special forces. There's no BRICS army, etc. I think NATO should be bothered on a symbolic level in terms of what it indicates in Turkey's preferred world, a belief in post-Western world, this sort of getting ready for a world in which, transatlantic unity and U.S. primacy are no longer defining features of the world. Turkey clearly is in a post-Western space. But I think for practical reasons, there is nothing to worry about. It doesn't mean Turkey will switch over to Eurasia. It doesn't mean Turkish-Russian relationship becomes an alliance. It does not mean that this is anything but a symbolic political gesture. But yes, the West should understand that there are countries out there in the global South, Turkey is one of them, that are trying to formulate their own order in their neighborhoods or in terms of global order and seeking for ways.
Right, and let me just ask you, could NATO perhaps benefit from Turkey joining BRICS?
It's hard to say NATO would benefit. I think NATO should think of Turkey and its place in the transatlantic alliance, which has been very, very important for the past 75 years, and what it can do to win Turkey back. There was a major anti-American demonstration in Turkey today. You see that in poll after poll, Turks believe that U.S. is a threat to their national security. There are other reasons for this, including U.S. support for Syrian Kurds and all of that. But the reality is this relationship needs a review, a reset, a new understanding. The way it is, there's just way too much resentment between Turkey and United States. And that's at the heart of Turkey's, I think, issues with NATO. I don't think Turkey wants to leave NATO. I think Turkey wants to have the option, wants to have alternative, wants to have a foot in each camp, wants to be able to trade with Russia, but also sell weapons to Ukraine and have a NATO membership. So that's not a model we're used to. And the decision for NATO is, A, can it win Turkey back? B, if it cannot, and I think that's it's hard to imagine Turkey becoming a loyal transatlanticist in this chaotic world. So the option B is, if it cannot, what does it want from Turkey? What can it give to Turkey? And can it allow a flexibility to Turkey without passing sort of certain boundaries? I think the Ukraine war is showing us that Turkey is presenting a new model for alliance membership. Trading with Russia, meeting with Russia and Putin, but also and not criticizing him at all publicly, even in the face of vicious attacks in Ukraine today as we speak. But on the other hand, restricting Russian Navy from access to the Black Sea, selling critical equipment to Ukraine and continuing to support Ukraine in open, public and more discreet ways. So it is, in a sense, playing both ends of the equation. It may not be ideal, but this is clearly the choice that Turkey has made.
Right, and you've mentioned this anti-Western sentiment being present in Turkey. And in 2024 alone, we had Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE join BRICS, and also Azerbaijan declared that it has formally applied, actually. So my question is it a wider trend?
It is a wider trend. Azerbaijan is a significant energy producer for Europe. Saudi Arabia is interested. These countries want to hedge their bets because they think the Western order and U.S. hegemony is in decline. And second reason is, I think this is equally important, they think by applying to BRICS, they get the attention of the United States. They can make U.S. and Western allies a bit concerned, maybe jealous, maybe offer them more options. They believe that this way of hedging allows greater leverage in their relations with the West. But the reality is BRICS makes sense maybe as an economic union, but it's not a political entity. And Turkey is not, Turkey's security interests are not in BRICS. They are in NATO. So what you really need is a really serious reset between Turkey and NATO, between Turkey and United States. Turkish-US relationship, which is something I've been covering for the past decade, it's the worst it has been. There is almost no engagement and a lot of animosity when U.S. officials and Turkish officials meet around a table. They give each other, they read each other lists of complaints and grievances. That is a recipe for disaster. There needs to be a collective effort in NATO and the transatlantic community to see if there can be a reset. If not, a serious conversation about what the consequences are of not really fully working with Turkey on these issues. I think this is a very important strategic moment. Turkey is not top news these days, but it is a very consequential country. I think it's important for transatlantic allies to rethink the relationship and try to see if there can be a reset of some sort.
Right, so what was the American reaction to this announcement?
One U.S. official said it's not a good idea, but not a senior official. Americans are very careful not to speak loudly and create diplomatic spats with Turkey, because President Erdogan is clearly an unpredictable leader who can say things out loud, bash at his critics, sometimes go beyond acceptable diplomatic norms, even when he is speaking with allies. So they don't want to create a sort of an unwanted fight, public fight, and therefore they kept their response muted. I think that U.S. reaction is, though, more of let's see where it goes. They are not taking it as a huge threat at the moment. They know that Turkey has developed this close economic relationship with Russia. They don't like it, but as long as it is one where they get to regulate some of the trade. They have come to accept it. The reality is that Turkey has been pursuing this post-Western agenda for some time. And that's something U.S. is actively thinking about, but has not really found a solution to.
Just one last short question. You said that the fact that Turkey has applied doesn't mean that they will join BRICS in the end, and it's all about the optics. So do you think it's likely that Erdogan will change his mind, or perhaps he's using this to get something from the West?
Turkey, I think Erdogan will use this, but also if Russians offered a membership, would take it. All it means is attending more summits of non-Western countries where people complain about the West. But in reality, Turkey's relationship with Russia is a very complicated one. It's a frenemy situation, friend and enemy at the same time. While there is trade, there is also tensions. There is tensions because of Turkey's support for Ukraine, Turkey's military support in terms of hardware for Ukraine, because they are competing in the Caucasus, in Libya, in Syria, fighting on opposite sides of these conflict zones. So I think U.S. officials know and Turkish officials know that Turkey and Russia will never be allies in the true sense of the word. And Turkey wants to make the West jealous, but it doesn't fully want to jump over to the other camp, Eurasian camp, so to speak, represented by the autocracies led by Russia and China. I think that this is a balancing act for Erdogan. Right. He will go to a BRICS summit and then try to get a meeting in Brussels. He will go to a BRICS summit or a visit to Russia and then seek an appointment at the White House. This is a game that he has played rather skillfully over the past 10 years. And I think he thinks it is winning him. I think Turkey is losing a lot because of this game. But that's my opinion. I think President Erdogan feels that it is winning leverage by playing off Russia against the US or the West against the non-West.
Asli Aydintasbas, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.